It's weird because this is at night and it's clearly the end of my Fringe day, but I realized I didn't record an intro. Today you get a smattering of shows I've seen over the last 2 days since I did a visual Fringe video, and I hope you enjoy. As always, links to the shows and tickets will be down there. So I wanted to film this review in front of this piece of art, which is called Somewhere Over the Rainbow, but it turns out that it's much higher than my head, and standing on a chair in front of this art seemed like a bad idea. So instead we have Give It a Chance by Adrian Lee. This is a review of Frog Pig. That's why the rainbow's relevant. I loved this show. It is the puppet-told story of a creature that is the child of a frog and a pig. Draw your own rainbow connections as you will. It's a musical cabaret show. I love this performer. His name is Joel. He's very, very talented. His physicality is great. And also, in a puppet show, it's really cool to see how they interact with the puppet. So his puppet is just a torso, so arms and a chest and a head, but doesn't have legs. So he really, really uses his legs as the puppet's legs. He dresses himself and the puppet in the same shirt, which is great. And then his pants are sharply contrasted to that, and it makes the physicality really cool. And he has like perfect control of the turning of the head, which I could not do. Clearly you just watched that happen, and it's brilliant. And the singing is great and the staging is great. He jumps up on top of a trunk that I was very worried wouldn't support his weight, and it totally did. And you should definitely check it out. Links is always down there. This is Untitled by Neil Singleton, and was a great background for the show that I just saw, which was called TK421 is Dead, a Stormtrooper story. This show stars Charles Ross, who has done One Man Star Wars. I have seen him do One Man Star Wars, which apparently he started here at Orlando Fringe, which I didn't know, but I have seen him nationally 3 times doing that show, like back when I lived in Iowa. So he's done really, really well for himself, and he came back to Orlando Fringe. He's doing 3 separate one-man shows. Sorry, 4, because he's doing One Man Star Wars for one night on the final day of Fringe. He's doing TK421 is Dead, which is a 2-man show. He's doing One Man Pride and Prejudice and One Man Stranger Things, which I will also be seeing later and reviewing. I loved this show. It is the heartfelt story of the one named Stormtrooper in all of Star Wars original trilogy, and it's sort of his story before he ended up dead at Han Solo's hand, and the story of mostly this friend that he had. And it's brilliantly orchestrated. They use very minimalist set, which you know I'm a huge fan of, and I absolutely adored it. If you're a Star Wars fan, I think they have one more show, which is so unfortunate, but go and see it if you can. This piece of art is Perched by Irina Ashcroft. You've already seen this because I interviewed her earlier, but it is the perfect background for talking about Black Crow Cabaret, because you know it's black and there's, well, probably not a crow, but let's not be technical right now, it's just art. I just saw Black Crow Cabaret. The show is phenomenal. It is a one-woman show by a lovely lady named Monica. It is a mixture of cabaret, spoken storytelling, and burlesque, and she tells this beautiful story of a woman who was burned as a witch in the 1600s and then was actually reborn as a witch and lived for several hundred years, and it's her story all the way up to the 1920s, I think, and it's beautifully done. The way that she changes her costume throughout the show and the way that the songs are woven in is just gorgeous. It's haunting and absolutely wonderful. It's out at Breakthrough Theater, which is a bit of a trek, but absolutely worth the trip, so you should check it out. This piece of art is called Lava by Caitlin Carney, and I'm using it as a background for a show I just saw called Flip. So the thing about the show is that it's not necessarily related to lava, but this is a color scheme for them and also shows the 2 sides, and that's what Flip's about. Flip is a messed up story, but messed up in the best way, like the kind of messed up that I really, really, really like. In this world that they have created, everyone wears around their neck a little switch, and by flipping that switch, it stops your heart and all of your other organs. Basically, you can flip it to kill yourself, or other people could flip it to kill you, and this show explores what happens to just a regular run-of-the-mill family in that sort of world. and you've got to be prepared for it to be, they start with an introduction to tell you that it's a sad story, and they are not kidding. So make sure you're ready for that before you go. But if you enjoy, I would say like Black Mirror, that sort of dangers of technology kind of idea, it's a really, really good show, and it's impeccably acted. And the only thing that I didn't like isn't even really a complaint. It's just that one of the main characters is named Mallory, and that's my name. So I was weirded out a little bit by people yelling my name and screaming for me and all this kind of stuff, and I was like, but I'm just sitting here. So Flip, check it out. This piece of art is Under the Same Sky by Meredith Malkin. It says, be you. And that is exactly the message of the show I saw, which is called Moth. Stars a lovely gentleman named Jeremiah, who I'm pretty good friends with, and it is a sort of mystical journey using song and acting to tell the story of one person sort of traveling through life, this person named Moth. And I loved this. I really, really enjoyed it. It has very good turns of phrases as far as the lyrics go, and it's super, super cute, and Jeremiah is so nice and does a beautiful transformation mid-show where he ad-libs as it takes some time to change. And I saw it today, and I think it took him longer to change than usual, so he's just sort of beatboxing and singing and ad-libbing in the back of the stage to kill the time, and I thought it was really entertaining. And if you want to support a really adorable local artist, tickets are only $5 for this show, so you really have no excuse. Check it out in the Red Venue. This is Puddles by Jason Hunt. It's an actual art, not a photo. I know, very surprising. But the perfect background for the show I just saw, which was #IT, the unauthorized musical parody of Stephen King's It. This is by the same people who did Thanksgiving last year. This show is irreverent, it is inappropriate, and it is absolutely hysterical. So if you like that sort of thing, or also if you're a big fan of Stephen King and especially of It, mostly the film but a little bit the book, I would highly recommend this show. It's very, very funny, and it's definitely an enjoyable time. I had a really good time watching it, so did everybody else in the audience, and I think that you would have a good time seeing it too. As always, check out links for tickets down there, and I'll be back at it tomorrow. See you then.